Hello and welcome to Dan Talks United. So yes, another preview. It is Spurs versus Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium down North London. Yes, a big game for us. Can we get back on winning track, winning ways? It's a team that we've lost against 3-4 times in a row, and that loss in the Europa League final, that is very hard to take still, very hard to get over. But it's about time that we readdress the balance here. That 3-4 straight losses, not wins in a row. We need to do something about that. Quickly become another bogey team on our long list of bogey teams. So we need to get this sorted in this game. Come on, guys, we can do this. United, United, United. But before we get stuck into the preview, got to have a massive shout out to Amorim and Brian Mbeumo, and they have got the manager of the month and the player of the month. So let's hear what the manager's got to say first.
Congratulations on winning the Manager of the Month award. How happy are you to do so?
I'm really happy, not just for my staff, but also for my players. I think they deserve full credit of this award. Because in the end, the manager that wins this kind of award is not the best team, but the team that performs.
Really like what Amorim said there. He's involving his coaching staff. He knows that he can't do it on his own, and it's good to have that recognition for his backroom staff as well. And obviously, other players are involved. Brian Mbeumo's got the Player of the Month award, but it's a team game, and it's good that he's mentioning everybody that's involved. Really good that. So, just to explain why they've got their respective awards. So, quite self-explanatory for Amorim. He's got it because 3 wins in a row. Yes, the 3 wins in a row. Was hoping that was going to go on and on and on. And as we know, Frank, United Strand, get your hair cut. But unfortunately, we've got to reset that now after the draw at Forest. But it's 4 games unbeaten. So that is still a positive. And then going on to Mbeumo for the Player of the Month award, he's got it pretty much because he had goal involvements in all of those games in October. He either scored or assisted. So I think he had 4 goal involvements across those 3 games across October. So I think it's well deserved. I think it's positivity that we need at Manchester United at the minute with all the controversy that we get all season round. So it's good to have that. Get into covering the Spurs game itself then. So just from Man United perspective, I feel that the team is starting to take shape now under Amorim in the sense of it is taking on the basic principles, I believe. I said a few things before in other videos, but again, just the build up. I know that we've changed things slightly against like Liverpool, for example, and against Sunderland as well, where we was going a bit more direct. But ultimately, what Amorim was after was that patient build up from the back, utilising the wings, the wing backs. It's just unfortunately, I feel that we've got a bit of an imbalance, and again, I may have said this before, but we've got a bit of an imbalance in the sense that a lot of our players go into the right-hand side, and that's where we're getting our joy. However, maybe in the last game or two, especially against Forest, it was worked out a little bit, and I think that led to Mbeumo not having such a good game, or not having a good game as he has done in other games. Ahmad the same, and I feel like when teams sort of defend aggressively or defend man to man, should I say, especially down that side, I felt Anderson was quite aggressive down that side. I felt there was times where Mbeumo was double teamed, so it didn't really give Mbeumo much space. Don't get me wrong, he got into space in moments, but I don't feel like he had the same freedom that he's had in other games. So it does need to be addressed. Unfortunately, may not be able to address it correctly until the transfer window's open, because I still believe that we probably need another left wing back, because down that left-hand side, I feel that Cunha sometimes is on his own and he's not getting that same support that Mbeumo's getting through Ahmad. So, yeah, I mean, Dorgu was meant to be the answer, not really playing as much, playing Dalot down that side. He clearly isn't comfortable on his wrong foot, so it's not really working for me. Now, other side of things as well, although we've played well here and there, and obviously we've had 3 wins in a row, 4 games unbeaten, I still think there's consistency that needs to be instilled into this team. And what I mean by that is that consistency works for not just game by game, but it's also in game. So as we could see against Forest, we started okay against Forest. We played okay. We got our goal, controversial or not, 1-0 up at half time. And then we come out for the second half, and then we're like a completely different team. And they get the first goal to level it 1-1, but there's still no urgency. We still haven't put any sort of basic fundamentals in place to stop them from taking the lead. And then we haven't really woken up then until they've taken the lead and it's gone 2-1. And then finally we've brought it back to 2-2. So we just need to generate that consistency for me. And then that, hopefully, we should see us finish in a respectable position by the end of the season. Now, looking at Spurs, I've not really watched them this season. Seen little bits here and there, mainly on Match of the Day, if I'm honest. I think they've got those sort of Thomas Frank fundamentals in their team. He's starting to put his imprint on the team, from what I can gather. Strangely, they don't seem to have much of a good record at the minute at home. So whether that would be a good omen for us or not, I don't know. But again, for us playing against them, I expect them to press us. I expect them to be aggressive off the ball. They have the benefit of having quite a pacey centre-back in Van de Ven. He is rapid. So it allows them to play a higher line. I don't know if the other centre-back, is it Romero? I don't know if he's just looking at their last lineup. Yeah, Romero was on the bench and was subbed on the 60th minute. So that is their best defensive partnership, Romero and Van de Ven. So that does allow them, like I say, to push up that little bit higher. But it's also, can we take advantage of that? Because I felt that's something that we could do against Liverpool, because they always play a high line. If we go direct from the keeper, Le Mans, into Sesko, as long as he looks after the ball, it could be beneficial to us. So moving on to more of the tactical approach that I feel that we should be utilising. Really just quickly touch on it, and then I'm going to just go on to the tactics board, only just briefly. So as I was beginning to say there, I think if we are going with a relatively similar team to what we've been playing with, utilising an actual number 9 and outlet, then yeah, we just need to mix it up and see how Spurs start the game. So if they start the game with a lot of energy, a lot of pressing, a lot of aggression, then we're just going to have to go along and try and cut out their press. So long as I was saying just then, as long as Sesko does what he's been doing in other games. He didn't quite do it against Forest, and I wasn't impressed with him against Forest. But in other games, I felt that he has claimed the ball, he has trapped it, he has then had the ability then to look up and say, right, I'm going to pass it to Mbeumo and do a 1-2, get into space, or pass it to a Cunha or Ahmad if he's going down the wing. So as long as that can happen, I think we can get a bit of joy and a bit of attack against Spurs. So I'm just going to go over now to the tactics board and just quickly demonstrate a bit further what I'm just talking about there. I would expect that Spurs will try and bring the game to us at times. So there would be that similar sort of aspect that we had against Liverpool. So if we do go with an out-and-out number 9 in Sesko, then Le Mans may go long to sort of cut out that press and not mess about with the ball at the back, and then sort of have that quick transition in a sense. So if Sesko can play well and can have the ball stick to him, then he's got options then around him. So we know that Mbeumo will be on his bike, Cunha will be on his bike as well. Dalot needs to go up. Ahmad the same. There's going to be times where Cunha will come deep for the ball. So if he gets the second ball because Sesko doesn't win that header, then Cunha'd like to pick up the ball from deep and then pass off and make his run, or pass off to the right-hand side and the same sort of thing. In regards to defensively, then I'd expect us to be pretty tight in our discipline and formation and have Sesko come back a bit deeper than that. And it's all about trying to cut out those passing lanes through the middle for me. And as you've seen before, there's times where everybody's committed forward. That's Ahmad as well in that half. Bruno the same. And then you've just got Casemiro trying to do the anchoring system in midfield on his own. Obviously, things have adapted since, where Shaw will come into midfield to support. Yoro the same. But then there's even times where we've seen Shaw being really aggressive and he's been on the edge of their box, just pressing and hunting down a fullback, for example. So that's dangerous, but if you can win it high up, it gives us a chance to attack them really quickly. So that's sort of the rough sort of setup and what I'd expect from the team against Spurs. Obviously, we'd want Bruno, he can roam, but we'd want him to be fairly disciplined, and Casemiro the same. But yeah, that is my quick, simple breakdown of how we should set up against Spurs. So hopefully that made sense. Like I say, it's not really changing much. I think the only thing, like I say, I want to see differently is that it's more of a mentality thing. It's more of a consistency thing. It's more of a being able to control the game thing, and I just don't think we've been able to put everything together yet. Still early days. Still, I suppose, in regards to our progress, we are there or thereabouts. It's just patience more than anything. But I think when you go on a winning run, it gets you into a different arena, into a bit of dreamland, into a bit of trying to get your standards back to where they used to be. So in regards to key players for ourselves, I'd say Mbeumo, as I've mentioned earlier, Ahmad, and their continued link-up play. And I think if that continues, we've always got a good chance down that right-hand side. I think my only concern, as I've been saying earlier, is that a lot of the other players are moving and shifting across that way because they know the ball's coming that way. And they know that they're going to get the ball back on that side. And that's where the creativity tends to be currently. So, again, we do need to resolve that. Amorim needs to resolve that. And then, other than that, it's also still got to be about the two players in the centre of midfield. So, Casemiro and Bruno. And especially against Spurs, because I feel they've got two really good players that play in the centre of their midfield in Bentancur and Polina. So obviously you remember Polina played at Fulham and then had a transfer over to Bayern Munich. I believe he's at Spurs on loan. Really good player that we probably could have looked at ourselves. But in any case, he's a really good player, and it's going to be a challenge for Casemiro and Bruno to win that midfield battle. Now, key men for them, mentioned two already, I suppose, in the centre of midfield, because I think you win that battle, you've got a really good chance of winning the game. And then on top of that, looking at Van der Ven, as I was saying before, because I think he is going to be key to slow our attack down in the sense of keeping a keen eye on Sesko, for example, or if we decided to go with a false 9, he's then going to be looking at Mbuma or Cunha, whichever one is playing the false 9. Again, if we go down with that tactic of playing the ball over the top, Van der Ven's going to eat that up all day long because of his speed. He's really quick, decent defender. And that's just something else that we need to think about. So even more so for me, that we need to be using our wings more and getting down the sides and testing their fullbacks and getting those crosses in the box because, again, Sesko, his leap, his height, we need to be utilising that. So other than that, they have got good players, decent players, a few players to watch out for, really. Like I said, the home record strangely hasn't been great, but we can't look into that too deeply because, again, we know that we've had 3 or 4 straight losses against Spurs, and obviously that final in the Europa League. So for me, just looking at their team as well, they got Kudos from West Ham. Really good player, a player that most teams would have wanted in their lineups, and he's going to be definitely a player for us to watch out for because for me, he's a game changer. There's times where he might be quiet in a game, but then he can just come up with something magical. And sometimes when you've got a tight game, which this could be, you want those difference makers. So let's move on to predictions now. Tough one, really, because if we'd have won against Forest, I'd have been really confident for this game. I'd be saying, okay, Spurs have beat us 3 or 4 times in a row, with us having no answer to that. And therefore, even though that's happened, if we've come into there with 4 wins in a row and had a really good performance against Forest, I'd be a little bit more confident. Also, if we're playing at home, I'd be more confident. So there's that strange we're in a strange period where you've got 2 away games in a row. So just very strange how it's scheduled. Going to unfortunately upset the positivity train, unfortunately. I can't shirk the feeling, but I've got a strong feeling that Spurs are going to beat us. And I'm going with a 2-1 win for Spurs. I'm really sorry that it's not positive, and I'm really sorry that's knocking us off that unbeaten run, but I just can't shake that feeling. So unfortunately, I am going for a 2-1 win for Spurs. Now, obviously, I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I'll be happier than anybody if I am wrong, but I just can't shake that feeling, unfortunately. But please put your comments below. Please let me know if you think we're going to win, we're going to draw, we're going to lose. Please tell me what score predictions you guys have got as well. It'd be really important to put that in the comments so that we can discuss that in the future. So as always, please subscribe to the channel because that's really important for new channels such as this. And as I keep saying, it helps us to do more. The more subscribers you get, the more support we get. So please like, please share, and I will see you on the next one.